And you guessed it, we're back. We've got Mark here and Ella with their encounter. We've got Gary in the background, and of course Matt's tagging. So we're gonna get a walkthrough of their experience / encounter and go and have an explore in the bush and see if we can find any breaks or anything. Maybe they left when they experienced it. We'll see you when we're up there. Alright. Was it about this quiet when you came that day?
No, it was like quieter, like you could hear nothing.
Yeah, no birds or anything?
No, not like a single thing. I kind of had like that eerie feeling to it because there was like no wind or anything either. So it's just like super quiet.
Was there many other people in the park?
No, not that day, I don't remember.
A couple of cars.
There was one car.
Yeah, there was like 1 or 2 other cars. And it was like only around like 11:30, like it was, you know, it wasn't super early or anything.
Yep. This is new since you've been here, Gary. This tree over. There's a few of them.
Looking at this.
Hello, beautiful.
That's moved. Where was it before? It was wedged in there.
There's one wedged here.
It wasn't there, was it?
I have a photo of it.
Yeah, that looks pretty new. Relatively new.
It was like wedged in place and then the tree had started growing around it.
Waiting for that Jeremy?
That's my girl.
Yeah.
So we always get that one bird doing that alarm and pissing off. Is that a trail right there, Mark? Matt, sorry. I'm going to get these mixed up now, even though I know you. A game trail? Because this is where I reckon we heard him come down that day.
Another one through there too.
Yeah. This is where we reckon we heard them come down and land and then stomp that way towards us.
Yeah, okay. We're able to see on this now, though. Where we are now compared to when we walked last walk. I think we're a bit further in.
Okay, this is not where I pictured it, which is...
I pictured it at the top of the creek there.
Yeah.
So this is a bit more...
This is probably more isolated from the
mainstream.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the only thing, Gary, you can find here is mist-turned rocks just maybe in the creek. So like instead of tracks, you'll find those rocks that have just been, if that.
Have you seen more of those craigs?
The crays.
Craigs.
Oh, no. No, not here. Something's digging under there.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's try toe impressions. Gap between the toe.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
This will be left foot and big toe. Oh yeah. Heels. And there's a boot heel, that's probably
Fresh.
that's, yeah, that's probably your boot.
Yeah.
That's definitely a footprint.
Almost looks like a mid, doesn't it?
Yeah, right here.
And it's pretty flat the whole way through.
That gap between the big toe and the second toe is like
The one that you found, yeah.
It's purely because they don't wear shoes. Our feet end up deformed over the years from shoes.
Yeah.
If you see like a lot of native people who don't wear shoes, their toes splay out.
Yeah, right.
So the same sort of thing.
Makes sense.
That comes to better stability and everything as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And traction.
Yep.
Yep, that's the one.
Climbing.
As usual,
Yeah.
it doesn't come out on camera.
Yeah.
So we're looking over here. Looks like about a 15-inch track. Got the heel impression here. Mid-tarsal break. Big toe. Outer toes. Gap between the big toe and the outer toes, as we were just talking about the splayed toes with beings that don't wear shoes, so their feet aren't changed over the years from wearing shoes like Homo sapiens. Now I'd say from this direction it's a left-hand footprint, so it's probably stepped straight onto the rocks right there and moved up the creek.
Next question I have is what's behind it?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
It's a lot rockier here,
Mm.
so that's not the shows.
Wouldn't splay in. There's too much
Yeah.
undulation there anyway. Interesting. And that makes sense with that toe digging in when you to step up onto that rock too, doesn't it?
Push off and upset.
That's probably a couple of days.
How much weather you had here?
It hasn't rained in the last almost week pretty much here.
Yeah.
Oh, so those big storms over there didn't come through?
Nope.
Oh, shit.
Not even out here I don't think. Especially from how the creek, as you can see it's
Noise and that was about it,
still
wasn't it?
damp up on these rocks, so it's actually receding. Up in there is where I found that tiny little structure that I was having a look at on my shorts, and then it just collapses. I'm like, oh wow, look at, I'm like, oh. So if it was that delicate and the wind hadn't blown it over, it was literally a tiny teepee little,
Yeah.
and it was just like, fuck. And I cut it out before it collapsed, so I'm like, fuck, I feel so bad.
It's probably one of the kids copying the parents anyway.
Yeah, I said that to Cade when I had a chat to him. He's like, you just ruined some kid's science experiment.
That's what he did. I remember that now. Yeah.
So were you planning that day to keep going up the creek, exploring and...
Yeah, because we've been watching your videos and I thought, oh, this must be the creek that Jeremy
Yep.
goes up. So I wanted to see the rock pools too.
Yeah,
And I've been up here once by myself, and Ella's shown an interest lately, so we both came up.
yep.
We've gone a little further up, and we're making our way back out,
Gotcha.
and this feels pretty good.
So this is August, you said? August of this year.
August, yeah, 18th of August.
What's
midday.
about midday? Okay.
Around 12:30.
So was it a hot day that day?
It wasn't hot.
It wasn't too bad.
Just a nice chill day.
Yeah.
Nice mild day.
Right.
I remember the creek was very high. Like
Yeah, there was
Oh, really?
water
consistently
in
from
this.
start to end, there was very deep water. So I remember like I slipped in it a couple of times and it was quite deep. It was probably about up to my shin.
Right. So you were in the creek down here, were you?
Yeah, we're heading back out.
And then looking up into the tree line.
We were
Up
just
here.
walking out, not really looking at much at all, until we heard the cry, and we both just stopped, looked at each other. Ella said, "Did you hear that?" And I went, "Yes." So I automatically looked up to where the noise came from, and I just had this perfect little hole through the shrubs, and I could see it more lit up. You can sort of see it now, but I can't see the exact spot where the black shape originated from. My
Pretty
mind's telling
close,
me
though.
it was a tree
Right.
or something very dense.
And the scream obviously came from that direction.
It came from straight up there where I saw it, because it was virtually the first place I looked, looking for anything black.
Would you say that it
Like the
screamed to
green.
get your attention?
It kind of felt like it was calling out to something else.
Like, hey,
it
look,
tried
there's
to blend
people down
in with
here.
nature to let someone else know that there were people here.
So it just sounds like an imitation of like a bird call or something.
Yeah. Some type of imitation of some type of animal, at least.
Yeah, sounded like a lamb in distress trying to make a bird call. If that makes sense.
Right.
Can
Right.
you try it again? I can't. do it.
It was like, "Yeah, yeah," like it sounded like that, like a cry, like
Yeah,
it was
right.
like crying.
So do
It
you
was like deeper.
think this being was young, going by that kind
I
of
don't
cry?
think the one on the left was younger.
No, the one on this side sounded like
Older.
the
So the-
sound
so
was
the-
coming from
Okay.
the stomach.
So
almost.
the vocalisation was from a different being.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So potentially it was a younger one in the area nearby calling out to potentially this one.
we think this one's called out first, which is the the deeper growl, or the deeper cry.
And then we kept moving. We moved a little bit further down, and that's when the the higher pitched one came from the right.
On this side of the
Yeah.
My
creek.
impression was this thing up here was telling this thing over here that we're in the creek, or telling it to lay low, or I don't.
How long after that first scream was the second
A
one?
couple minutes,
Yeah.
like 2-3 minutes.
It's almost like quick, have a look, and then tell me if you see it and scream back, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And because I had fallen in to the creek, I was already wet, so I was just like, I'm just gonna stay in the creek.
So you're making a fair bit of noise.
Yeah.
Making a fair bit of noise, like treading
Right.
through the water, but it sounded close. Like they had maybe were moving towards the water to come down, and then they're like, don't move, like there are people there, because it sounded close. But then again, like it's very echoey.
So it was first cry, stick snap, bush movement, nothing for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then down that way, same side of the bank, same cry as we first heard. We're like, all right, we start moving out. I reckon within 2 minutes,
5 minutes, yeah. Within.
right side of the bank, and it's just this high pitched, squeaky squeal.
Yeah.
To the point where you go, what the fuck was that?
That was the one where it sounded like it was all around me. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out where the hell it was coming from.
Did you expect to see it when you turned around when that one went off on that right
Expected
side?
to see something,
Something,
like
yeah.
either two big branches rubbing together and go,
Yeah.
but we look around, it's like this and everything's still.
Mm.
So there's potentially 3 beings around you at that point in time.
I'm thinking it was the one up there, noticed this, called out to warn this one.
Mhm.
He's then gone further down there, called out again. Then this one's called out like, okay, I hear you.
Mhm.
And we've just sort of motored then. And then we're good 3 meters back, 3 minutes back down the creek. And this high pitched noise has come again, but closer and
All around,
All
which was
around.
talking about the infrasound effect that we were talking about earlier,
yeah, right.
potentially.
But it was head turning sort of noise. It was
Something really catches your attention.
yeah.
Like a safety
And
thing.
Different frequencies, the two noises. That one deeper and lower and louder. This one high pitched and almost like a whistle to get your attention. I don't
Yeah,
know,
right.
It was like, whoa, what the fuck? I can't do the noises very well.
It sounds pretty good.
So is it possible to get you up there at a tree there
Yeah,
to explain exactly what you saw?
no problem.
So when you saw this thing,
Yeah,
how long until, so you looked away, as you were saying before, and then you looked back and
looked
it was
away
gone.
to Ella.
How long roughly were you looking at it, do you think?
I was looking for about 8 or 9 seconds.
Yep, which is pretty long really in that
Yeah.
sort of,
And just thinking, why is the side of it moving like that, shimmering?
when nothing else was.
Nothing else was, but then I thought, okay, I've got some filtered light coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Then I thought it must be the filtered light catching on the side of it, which gives it
Yep.
not a definite line.
But I mean,
Like,
I-
how far in do you reckon?
I can't.
I can stand there. if
well, let's all go up. Ooh. Oh yeah, you want to stand there first, Matt?
you like. I can go in.
So Mark is actually a qualified thermographer.
All right.
Might be handy on the night expeditions.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's the one I was talking about. And it goes, when you cross, you can see that things jump from one side to the other. It's quite impressed on that grass there.
Quite a deep washout, isn't it?
Yeah. So we got Mark in there now. Ella's moving up.
I'd say probably another 10 metres backwards.
Where that big tree is there.
Where the trail is just
Can you see that thick tree there, Mark? There's a thick tree that Matt's just about to go behind. I can just see you because of your shirt.
Can you see him?
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
you need to take a breath, take a breath.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So you reckon it would have been that tree roughly?
My impression was I was only looking at it from the waist up.
Mhm.
Never saw shapes of legs. Didn't really see shapes of arms either. I just saw that block colour. With a bit of light on it, the shoulder area definitely looked rounded, and the half head, which I think I saw, it definitely looked rounded with a bit of light on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I've gone, fuck. Sorry for swearing.
You've seen my videos.
Yeah, and then the movement was just bizarre. It was like it was
Swaying.
almost sliding, not swaying from the feet, but its whole
Just
body
shifting,
moving away from the tree and then back in.
like its hips were on a slide sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while it was doing that, the side of it that faced the sun had that sort of real motley kind of wavy effect to it.
I can see you now.
Oh, I can just see you, Matt.
Yeah, because you're talking, I know exactly where you are. I can see your face.
And then just see him. That Caucasian skin.
Probably because he's so tall.
Oh no.
Oh, geez, he's pretty much hidden there.
I really like that first tree you're at.
What colour would you say you saw?
Black,
Just black, not like a dark brown or anything. Black. And the edges were blurry, you say?
The edges that
Or like
had
that
the sun
wavy.
on them,
Yep.
shiny black.
Because the one I saw, that came down the tree up the creek, and I'll show you where that was.
Yeah.
To me, it was literally like a super dark brown, almost black colour.
Yeah.
But the edges of it were, you could tell that it was hair or fur, because it was like blurry.
Okay.
But it was only a 2 second, like 1, 2, that's as long as I saw it. But it was long enough to see that's a black blob coming out of the tree, and there was a clear edge of hair or something to it.
Yeah.
Do you want to go behind that tree, Gary, because you got the darker clothes on? Because I'll take you up to that X marker on the video too, if you like.
Oh, yeah.
Possible X marker. Always possible until you see him do it, right? Is this bringing back a bit of feeling from that day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like tricky as well because
Standing here is...
there was
Yeah.
so much water that day. So like it just looks.
Was
so
it running, the water?
Yeah, it was like.
So there was that background noise of the water, but nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh, geez. How's that? Do you see Gary there now?
I reckon add another foot on top of Gary, and that's probably right where that black shape was.
The head or the shoulders?
When I could see half the head, it would have been easy a foot above Gary's top of head.
Yeah, right. So like 7.5 sort of thing.
Gary's top of head would be around shoulder.
Right.
Can you just do a bit of a movement out from the tree and back in again, Gary? Sorry?
Do you want to do a wave in and out as if you're having a peek?
Yeah, that's real good.
They did it a lot smoother, didn't they?
That's really good.
Jeez, I can only just get you even zoomed in, Gary. Do you want to come up and have a look up here? There is actually a track. That's interesting. I think that's from this tree. Yeah. See, it's like a highway through here. An easy throughway. Do you see any impressions or anything? No, it's too dry.
So you're saying like you looked away for about three seconds and you came back to the beans are gone.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 seconds. It was pretty quick.
Right.
Just a glance to Ella to see if she was looking in the same area.
Yep.
Back and then nothing, and then we, oh, you dickhead.
Not the only one though. So,
You obviously didn't hear it move away after.
straight through here.
Away in line with that tree, yep.
Because if we go through here, that's going to snap off.
Mm-hmm.
That's too weak.
He's there. I wonder if there's any hairs on that log going over the top, if he's that tall.
Hanging down. And then there's
Because you said you heard him up to the right then, is that right, Mark, after? He went that way,
Yeah, that way.
which is where that,
Like he's paralleling the creek
following you guys out or ahead of you?
ahead of us.
This is about where I found that structure right here. I think just under, in this little clearing here. But in the whole time you didn't hear any rustling or movement from...
After the first cry out,
Yep.
we had the stick snap, and then just a brief bush noise like a...
Right, brushing past there. And that was it, nothing after that sort of thing, until he screamed again up further.
Scream, got our attention, stick break, that noise, I'm onto something black, looking at it, turn to Ella, look back, it's gone. Then it screams from a good 40 metres further back out the creek, similar sort of distance away from the creek. It was like, it was there, now it's there. We're going, okay, we're going anyway, let's go. Then the on the right side, and like, shit. So we kept going out, and then we got the much louder one, which sounded like it was everywhere on the right side.
How, in what time frame roughly do you think that it was from here to 40 metres that way? I know it's hard to say that. Too quick for someone to do?
10 seconds, too quick.
Yeah,
for
and without
someone to
noise
walk through
especially
without
as well.
making Noise, definitely.
Because Matt's probably trying to be a bit quiet and you can still hear him.
That's the thing, I'm trying to work out which way they went.
None of these are broken, so you wouldn't imagine that he'd come through here.
Well, trying to find which direction they went. And there's also the potential that they went towards the pedal as well. Which obviously dropped their height by half.
If you look at this one, this stick here was... Oh no, that's a different way, but that's come down. So you can jump over this too. No weight on that. Just step over it like it's nothing.
Go underneath and
Yep.
through there. Just coming in the back here, where we are.
Matt's been through here there. Straight over there.
That's it. Through.
You can see that a few things slammed there and all the scuffs here.
Yeah, exactly.
We would have heard something racing through here.
Oh, absolutely. It's like the time up under the power lines when Matt and I were up there and we heard this thud like a cow getting up. That's how loud it was.
Yeah.
A little rustle and then nothing. We waited about a minute and then I walked up quickly while Matt kept filming. Nothing. But the whole time we walked up towards, well I was walking up towards it, there's a big drop off to the right. And every now and then I could hear a little like down in this gully. But I was focused on the huge noise that we just heard. So I didn't think to look down the gully. But a couple of weeks later I went through there. And right in the middle of a creek like this, where no one, you don't go because it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Perfect little weed up this tall, snapped right in half like that. And that was exactly where I was hearing those other weird noises. But something that makes that loud of a thud can't just get out of there without making noise.
No.
Because it's all like leaf litter, you can't.
Yeah. boggles the mind.
Yeah, koala. I filmed one koala on the game camera out here.
Oh yeah.
See their marks going up. There's food for anything out here. There's that much stuff.
I've had another noise out here which sounded like a big piece of thick sheet metal. Oh, not sheet metal, but
Like a metal sounding
metal
noise?
plate.
Yep.
Yeah, like someone's picked up one end of it and dragged it along the concrete floor.
Yeah, right. In this side?
Once here and once at Mount Cliffer.
Because when I've been walking through here before, I have heard weird noise like a balloon popping, but too deep, more like a metallic balloon popping. I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe someone's up on the ridge or something. And then I've always heard weird noises. The owl in the middle of the day making only one little whoo, and that was it. And that was on that side of the ridge. And they don't. You shouldn't be having owls make noise during the day.
I think the sound.
Yeah.
Just hearing what I heard was just like enough to be like, there's something in there.
That's different to
That's
what.
different. Like it was just like.
Because you know what dogs sound like. You know, foxes do that little.
And
like that
obviously
scream,
it's gonna,
but-
like alarm you if you hear like something like a baby lamb
Yeah.
in distress.
An animal. Yeah, just an animal in distress.
Yeah. Because like we were just walking and then we didn't register it straight away, and then I was just kind of like, and I was like, Dad, did you hear that? And then he stopped and he was like, actually, yeah, I did. And then that's when we completely stopped, and it was just dead.
And then that's when you looked up.
And the
That's
look on
what
our
I
faces was we were confused. We were sort of like, did you hear that? Like,
Was
not,
that real? Yeah.
Oh, did
Like
you hear
just-
that bird?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like, what the? Did you hear that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you get like a flight or fight feeling, or was it more of a life or
I
death?
just kind of remember just being like, telling myself to stay still, like don't move, like I don't know. It kind of was like
You were
neither.
just frozen
I was just kind of frozen.
without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like you were.
And then when he started saying that he was looking at something, I've never heard his voice sound like that before. Like it was kind of like
That. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like struggling to talk. Because like, what the fuck am I looking
yeah,
at?
it was like that. I've never heard him speak like that.
You heard him up there again. You were on your way out, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we started moving.
And then you got to the end of the creek. Was there anything else after that?
No,
Nothing.
we're probably halfway out.
So you think
At the last
do you think
drive.
they were maybe following you out? You know how some people say they get paralleled?
I think the one with the higher voice.
Yep.
I'm thinking it's the young one. It felt like it definitely followed us out.
But you obviously no noise. It's just that feeling like you were being watched or something.
Yeah, after that first cry of the younger one.
Yep.
It was like whoa, and it was quite close. And then when it's done it again louder, it's like okay, this thing's trying to push us out.
I wonder if that louder one's like to cover it moving, so you hear it all around you, to cover them leaving maybe. Because you said that second one was like it was everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Obviously all speculation.
Yeah, I wish I knew. I wish I could. give
You wish you
more
could go
answers.
back and relive it.
It was that
I
third.
wish I didn't look away.
Yeah. It was that
That's how
third
quick it is,
last
hey?
one for me that felt like it was everywhere, but like just the like when it felt like it was all around me, like this whole place felt totally different to me.
Yep.
Like when we were here, when we were walking in, it's like oh we're like just on a walk.
In the bush.
But on that last one where it was like I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. it
Like
was
you didn't belong almost.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm in like a different universe
Yep.
right now. It just like felt so
Like a
off.
parallel universe.
And then from that moment onwards, I think Dad and I like haven't moved quicker out of here.
Is that when your ear started hurting?
My ear was hurting as we were getting deeper.
Oh, as you were on the way in.
And it was still hurting on the way out, but like the second we got to the car, I felt okay. And like my ear was hurting, but also felt a bit like yuck. Like I
Yep.
felt like a bit nauseous.
And you fell in the water on the way in,
On the way in,
Yeah.
and then
and it was quite a large splash, like the noise, like just.
yeah, it was a lot of water. I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
week there was like torrential rain every day,
Yep.
so it was really deep.
Because this gets bloody full.
And then, but on the way in, I wasn't walking in the water as much. I was
No.
still trying to go on the outside, but it was on the way back. I was like,
I remember
like
you
my
actually
shoes.
saying my shoes are wet now. I might as
Yeah,
well
I
walk in the water."
literally said my shoes are already wet. I may as
That's what
well
Matt
just
does.
walk in the water.
He doesn't fall in, he just starts going in the water.
So I just like kept walking through the water. And I was making that splashing sound, and I think I wrote in my notes like I felt that like possibly me walking in the water they were probably
Annoyed them or
annoyed
something.
because
Yeah.
they probably don't get that high volume of water that regularly.
I remember, we're about to go crayfishing and you're scaring all the crows away.
So we've got another possible print here. Same dimensions. Heel there. that rock's in the middle, but it's not pushed in. So if it was a shoe with a hard sole, you'd imagine that would be pushed right in the ground. You can tell it's quite wide at the top again.
Get away from the
That's a right foot, isn't it?
I'm going to be on left.
Left.
Roughly 16 inch.
He hasn't pushed off too hard on that one too, has he? He's gone up there.
He's straight up there, yeah.
There's a lot of disturbance up there. Mate, possibly there. This part, if you stood on that. But then it'd be deeper. Or even deeper on that point because the rest is dug in. How do they do it? Another one possibly going sideways here. Really hard to catch on this. That's come this way too, hasn't it?
I pretty much do.
Towards me.
Anyway, at work, no one tells me what to do. So.
No, I reckon it's going that way.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Oh, yep, because it's wider. Yeah.
And that's not the same foot. That's a different foot. It's wide at the toes and
Yeah.
narrow at the heel.
That's even bigger.
Yeah, it's longer. Heel's narrower, wide at the toes.
You find like they're a triangle? That's how I've found. Basically, they vary.
All of them.
All of them.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Most of the Gold Coasts run about to 6 toes as well.
Really?
Oh, dead set. Nephilim, you reckon?
Yeah, potentially.
So he's going that way then. 'Cause yeah, you can see it from this point now. It goes right out wide.
Sort of like, do you reckon it's like a deformity or more for better?
Deliverance, you reckon?
Yeah.
Well, they're not a deformed toe, like a deformed looking foot.
It just looks.
How it should be.
looks normal.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't look like there's like one toe shooting off one heel.
Yeah.
Have you found a left and a right like that?
Like it's meant to
Yeah.
be sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was right next to the last toe, not sort of sticking out the side.
Same as your foot, just 6 instead of 5, just straight across.
Which one do you reckon is the extra? The middle toes?
It's too hard to tell because they're all so even.
Yep.
So there's no other toes shooting off at a weird angle or nothing. Even though it's lined up.
The pinky's the
it's
same
lined
as
up
the...
normal.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's nothing going with
that nice support.
Yeah.
Be interesting to find a handprint.
Been a while. Been a long while. Actually, knuckle and hand would be pre-thermals.
Dead set.
So when I got the first thermals,
Yep.
those 15-minute ones, which then led to investigating that ridgeline,
Mhm.
which then led to Buck's thermals.
Yep.
When we investigated that ridgeline,
Because you saw 2 on that time, didn't you?
yeah,
Yep.
it come to yeah. When we investigated ridgeline after my thermals, that as we're going up, that's when we found shitloads of footprints.
Yep.
Just like highway up in that ridgeline, and then knuckle prints and hand prints going up.
Reaching up because it's so bloody steep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I trying to remember what it was, yeah? I think it was like that.
Yep.
That into the dirt. And I was able to put my hand into it. Same shape, just twice the size.
Twice the size.
Yeah.
Let's go chase it.
Yeah, that's a different. That's not the same. That's not the same foot.
It's just flat the whole way too. That's a good indication.
Look at this here.
Look at that. Mid.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
You see that?
You see that torso spin up
Possible mid tarsal. Because our boot prints, it's more of the toe that the kick is, not right in the middle.
There's one in front of your
Yep.
foot.
Yep. Look at that gate.
So that's this one.
That's
that
like
one,
at 1.5 metres.
and this one's going. So that's either the same being or 2 separate beings.
They usually travel in twos, don't they? We've got another impression in the leaf litter.
Oh yeah, stepping over the top there.
And it's heading that way, because you see it goes wide out that side. That's the same as that big one, isn't it?
The cross one.
Just then, yeah, that,
Yeah,
yeah.
cross
Oh,
one,
yep,
that
yeah, the
top.
sideways one.
Yeah.
You can see that there.
Yeah. Something scratching around.
So that means
So I think
that's such a clear impression there. But you can't even do it. Must have been done when it was a bit more wet.
You reckon in the last couple of weeks?
maybe even days, because you can see it's all still really moist and it's only recently
Yeah, that's true.
just lost its water. So maybe that was just underwater or just above when it was done. I'm just showing Mark and Ella this possible X marker, which is just so perfect to happen in nature that you can tell that other bit there, Mark, was attached to that end. So when it fell, it snapped, but it's either landed so perfectly or it's been placed there. Because you think that would have fallen through the canopy, and with how light that is, it should have ended up over there.
Yeah. That's very symmetrical as well.
Mm-hmm. And that branch under it, when I first found it over a year ago now, I pulled it out and it went boom, flung back straight back up. So in typical finderer fashion, Gary's just found this stick, wedged into the ground pretty deep too. We won't take him out. That's not going to fall naturally with gravity. And then just below it, on that lantana, there's a big snap break, a right angle break. Yeah, which is pretty interesting. Small wildlife. There he is. We're just following this trail. It's a break about 6.5. See that there? What's going to break that?
Alright, so we've just been trekking through the forest to get to your sighting and encounter location. As we know, it's not beside any main roads, we're in a national park here. Happened back in August, as you said, around midday, nice temperate day, wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold.
Yeah, that's right.
So while we're out here, just to explore?
Just to explore this particular area after watching Jeremy's stuff, which came on the back of Michael's encounter down there in the main creek. Just drew a lot of interest to these creeks, and in particular after seeing some of Jeremy's stuff, didn't realise this creek was here, because we used to come in off that pump, that second sort of crossing on the main creek there, and just follow that.
So it's something you've obviously had, you've created a vested interest in this topic.
Yeah, it goes back probably 5 years ago, and I was behind a car driving through the gap, and it had Yowie hunters on the back of it. So I got home and did some Googling. I thought, I remember hearing about Yowies when I was a kid. And then I remember thinking, oh, don't tell me they're hunting them, you know. So I looked it all up and thought, oh no, this is what it's all about. And that just, I was hooked after that, and probably listened to most of the stuff online that's there, good and bad. But yeah, that created the interest, and here we are, a place nice and close to home.
Nice.
That's had results before, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, look, as you know, we have the encounter that Michael's had in the creek up there.
Yeah.
As well as thermals captured by AYR, and the multitude of footprints that AYR and Jeremy through Agaloo have found as well. And even today, like we've all come across quite a few footprints up the creek. So the day you here, was it you and your daughter, or?
Yeah, it was my daughter and I. I'd been up the creek partially up the creek by myself, and just started showing some videos to Ella, and she showed an interest to come along and have a look. And
how do you feel about the situation now?
she's a bit of a newbie into it, but open-minded still.
Yeah, well, I just kind of I just started off back with him watching videos, and then I just have been watching videos of my own, Jeremy's and AYR.
And Sarah's stories.
And Sarah's stories as well, I had podcasts.
A lot of video and podcasts, and pretty much anything you can find as such.
Yeah, I've only been out here twice so far. This is my third time, but yeah, I think it's so interesting.
Well, you did quite well keeping up today, so thumbs up.
Better than a dad.
So the big question, after your incredible encounter, where do you stand on the subject?
I'm 100% believer.
Yeah.
I was before that.
Yeah.
It just makes too much sense when you put all the pictures together. But then confirming it, to me, that's all I wanted. I'm never about pulling the phone out and taking some pictures.
Yep.
It's just a personal thing for me.
So is this something now, like now you've had your own encounter, are you going to then progress to try and have more encounters, or you
Yeah,
done?
I'd like that, and I'd like to encounter other things as well.
Right, so you,
It sort of opened my eyes up a bit to anything's possible, and yeah, don't discount anything, really.
We've just done our chat and trek through the bush as well, which is really awesome. Definitely going to go through the game trails a bit more in the bush when I come out. So it was literally, I walk past it all the time where they had their encounter. Right up here. Just in there. So who knows how many times we could have been walking past and just being watched with no noise being made. I'm just heading back to the cars now. Gary's just going up ahead into the bush there. Off a trail. You can hear him stomping up there. There he is. I'll follow him up. Yep. There's a marker here from Gary. That's an arrow.
yeah, so that not
And right beside it is an X. Spot by the finder.
yeah. So